Hey there, beasties. Was topping off the hit point tank before every fight the best decision? Let's get into it, shall we? Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, that this is the foundation of how Pathfinder 2nd Edition works. You have a fight, you're done, everyone refills on hit points. They have made it incredibly easy to do so. As the game has progressed, we see more and more classes that get these abilities that they can, within an hour, your party should be full if everyone's kind of like going through all of their resources faster if you have specific classes. So this is done clearly for the dynamic and the math that they've put together in Pathfinder, that these encounters, all of these monsters are very tough, very fun. You need to be at your best if you want to kill them and not die yourself, which those of us that play a lot know that's still not any guarantee. However, in the mechanics of battle, hit points are one of the more valuable resources that you are consuming. All of your marshals, they're getting up there, they're up in the front lines, and they are trading blows with these monsters. Your monsters, they typically have higher hit points because it's pretty rare that they have healing on their side, and your side is generally expected to have some sort of in-combat healing. That said, you both get drained, you get kind of filled back up during the fight, and when you're done, you're like, oh, your only consumable resource as a marshal is your hit points. So you're like, we gotta fix this. Let's top off. So everyone gathers around, everyone gets back to full hit points, and you proceed onward. The problem actually sort of arises when we look at spellcasters. It has created this feeling, I need to be at full resources. And it's interesting because when you get to spellcasters, as they're casting all of their spells, they don't regain those unless you rest for the day. So you're done adventuring, they need their spell slots back. So, of course, this is why we have cantrips, but in big fights, your cantrips don't help a lot. Of course, they deal some damage, but there are times that like, hey, the output damage of the monster is really big. We need to get rid of them much faster or we're not going to make it. So you need to bust out higher level spells that have a greater impact on the fight, which is good. This is what the spellcasters are designed to do. The issue that I'm talking about is, I'll give you a personal anecdote. It was a game where the characters had been transported to an area. They spent the night, first one in the morning. Now, of course, we're already having a few issues. The first character gets up, they're in the snowy area. There's this huge castle, and he starts walking up to it before anyone else is up. And he's not going to go in. There's this big ravine that they have to cross in a bridge, and he's like, nope, not doing that. But as he walks up, it triggered a Remorhaz encounter. Now, it was a very funny fight. Everyone gets out of bed, they're getting armor, they're trying to get ready for the fight. Meanwhile, this one character's out there running around for his life. It was a good time. During that fight, the spellcaster, the wizard, burned through all of his highest level spell slots and the ones lower and the ones underneath that. Like it was so funny because at the end of the fight, he's like, okay, I need to rest. And the character playing the barbarian looks at him and says, we've been up for like 30 seconds, which is about how long the encounter went. And it's really funny to think about that you literally woke up, you're like, whew, okay, man, I'm beat. I can't go on. Like the sun is barely up. So the whole point of this is the spellcasters have this tendency to burn through their slots because that is their resource and their hit point resource is pretty minimal, obviously. But to feel good about playing, they're kind of forced to use their higher level slots and to have fun. And it creates this interesting dichotomy that your marshals, they get in there, they get to do everything they're always able to do. And then at the end, their one consumable resource, their hit points, gets topped off. Spellcaster gets in there, they have to make decisions, and often they're kind of left with these decisions of, oof, do I really want to burn my higher level spell? And or am I going to hold off? Now, that decision can sometimes lead to downed party members and even death. I've seen that several times. So the best way you can combat this is you need resources that allow you to access these higher level spells, and that is with scrolls, with staves, with wands. But part of this goes to the GM as well. You need to make sure the characters are getting those resources. They're sometimes, especially in APs, they can swing wildly in A, the amount of wealth the characters receive, or B, their ability to spend that wealth and acquire the things that they need. So I would strongly advise that you make sure both of those things are there. If they're not there, we need to take a look in. Do we need to add a little more money? Do we need to add some spots for characters to make some additional purchases? Because again, it's actually not really fair that your spellcasters get burnout and then they're pushing for the rest. And I get it, a lot of games, it is as simple as saying, okay, we rest. But it's actually one of the bigger complaints that I see is this sort of suspension of realism that a lot of people enjoy in their games, that you're going to rest in a dungeon, or you're going to rest after a few hours that you've only been up and now you still have the whole day in front of you, but you need to rest to get those spell slots. So there's a couple of things I have been toying around with that it is ways to look at that. And if as the GM, you're willing to let the party rest there, you might want to come up with a system of, hey, you can rest and you can regain a spell slot a level of spell slot per 10 minutes. So if you spend 30 minutes, you can regain a 3rd level spell slot. If you spend an hour, you can regain a 6th level spell slot, or break that up in however you want. That 6th level could be 2 3s, it could be 3 2s, it could be a 4 and a 2. But give that caster a way to start maybe getting some of those spell slots back. And I know focus points were kind of meant to be this, but let's be honest, they're not. You have your focus spells, but they're never going to be the strong situational spells that you need for every encounter. So that is a really big pivotal thing in these types of games. And so if you don't have a problem and you guys absolutely like, no, we do great. We adventure, our spellcasters meter out their spells, we rest, we're good. Then cool, awesome. If you do have issues in your game where you like, oh man, we always are resting and it's weird and I don't like saying we rest in the dungeon type of thing. So if that's the case, there are ways to do it. And like I said, you can be creative. You don't have to as a GM. If you don't like them, maybe want to rest, let them rest in the dungeon. I would suggest this partial, letting them get a few spells back. This lets them continue on and feel like they can do a few extra things, or hand out scrolls, hand out staves. You can even create some new items. Every game has these mana potions that let you refill this consumable resource. And you could add these into Pathfinder, like they're just spell slots, or they're a number of spell slots. A 6th rank mana potion can do just that. Give you back 6 ranks of spells. You can get your 6 1st level spells. You can get 1 6th level spell. If you don't want to be handing out scrolls, and because when you get to scrolls, well, what spell is it going to be? I totally get it. Handing out scrolls is not just a super simple solution. It really isn't. So be creative, have fun with it, and I see this mentioned a lot, so it is clearly an issue, not a major issue, but I think a solvable issue, to be fair. And please, if you like our content, like and subscribe. I'm supposed to put these more in the middle of the videos instead of the end, and I have been chewed out about this a few times, so I will do better. I will do so much better. I'm going to put a post-it note on my monitor or something. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of this. So, as always, game well, my friends.